begin to understand. It's like the first lesson, the first steps for understanding everything. So you can see the spirit of the consciousness, and then the physical spirit, or the physical aspect. The physical aspect, we do this. The physical aspect is the physical way to understand everything physical, like our physical body, the physical building, the physical trees, every physical, we use this representation. And all the spirits will use this representation. We can say this, physical and the spirit. Okay? The F, physical, and then the E, the I, or the E, the I, is the spirit. So remember, the Mayan culture, to understand the Mayan culture, everything, you need to see the duality of everything. The duality of everything. If I like to understand you, like a human, I need to see your physical aspect and your spiritual aspect, because I know you have both. Your physical body, your spirit. Your spirit I cannot see, but I know it's there. They need to be together every time. So we can say this is the spirit, and then the physical. So the duality is, in every moment, is there. I like to tell a little story about what happened with the Spanish. They came here. When the Spanish came here, they saw the Mayas. They saw the physical body. But later, when they asked to the Spanish if that person have the spirit, and say no, they don't have a spirit. They don't have a spirit because they don't have God. They don't understand God. So the Christian God, they can not understand the Mayas. So in that way, only physical, like anything. Big difference between the thinking of the Mayas, because the Mayas, they knew everything have a spirit. The trees, the animals, the water, everything have a spirit for the Mayas. So the problem of the Spanish is they have some kind of education different from the Mayas. So today, until today, most of the Catholics, they don't consider, example, the dogs or the cats or the trees, they consider it's no spirit there, because they don't know how to pray and believe in God. It's like saying, ask to the tree to pray for God, and you're not going to hear nothing. They're not going to answer nothing.
Is that perhaps why there is so much disrespect for animals and trees and the earth?
No, it's more because, for me, it's more because they don't understand what is God. When the Christian think God, they think in the people in the cross suffering. That's the God for them. So, but different. The Mayas, they, not in that way we think. More this geometric form is more God. It's the representation of God according with what I discovered in the Mayan culture, which you're going to begin to understand just when they go into lecture up, or more lecture, then you begin to understand why Hunbatz, he chose this geometric form to represent God. You see? Because understanding this geometric form, you can understand God. In the Mayas, they understood God. At the same time, it exists in the sacred geometry, this, but now you're going to begin to understand, okay? Because more explanation of this geometric form, then you begin to understand more God. This is a symbol. So Masayuki, Minako, many people begin to use the symbol because they understand more the explanation of how to understand God through this symbol. Because anyway, God is symbolic, because you cannot see God, because God in the physical aspect exists in one way, but it exists another way in the like the materia and no materia, so physical and no physical. And so it's the way we understand the Mayas in both aspects. Because if you ask the Mayas if about God in the tree, they can say yes, it's in the tree. Why? Because it's more, something more happened in the tree. You know, the trees, they have a life, and they're giver of the life, because you could, all the trees, it looks like the kind of special wind we have for life cannot exist no more. And that's begin to die everything, because we need a tree for the transformation. So the trees produce wind. And that kind of wind is so good for the healthy. So that's the reason Mayas, we consider the tree is our brother. It's our brother because help us. So in Maya theory, so now with the language you begin to understand more. In the Maya, the te is the name of the tree, and all is the conscience of the tree. So the difference exists between human and the tree is this. Human, our spirit is kina, energy comes from the sun. But our work of initiation work is when you begin to have a conscience about everything. And the conscience in Mayas is all. So the trees, they don't have a problem for the Mayas. The tree, at the same time, comes in the integration of the conscience of the universe. So according with the Mayas, is more perfect the tree of some human. That's interesting. Because so the tree is perfect. Human, we need to learn how to have the all, or how to work with the all. Going to drink some water because we need to water. So the trees, they don't have like a school for the trees they can go to learn. You see? Because just when the tree come and begin to grow, it's perfect. Growing the tree is growing with the consciousness of the universe. And then human is different, because just when we have a few years, we need to go to school, and later another school, and then another school. And the situation, terrible situation is, depends one can educate us. Because we know in this crazy time in Mexico, so they go to school, but when they try to learn any religion, they need to go to the Christian religion. And the Christian religion is more than the distortion of what is God. You see, because they don't have the correct education to explain what is God. Example is this. For the Christian, the trees, they don't have spirits. And for the Mayas, the tree have a spirit. And just when they begin to grow, the spirit is there in the tree. And when it's tall, the tree, so huge the tree, huge the spirit of the tree. And for you, remember this, the masters like Buddha, how many years it was close to the tree? Many years. Because what he did, Buddha, is receiving the energy of the consciousness spirit through the tree. You see? So that's the education that make the big difference in Buddha to the rest of the people. Because Buddha, he was living there close to that high spirit, is be receiving the education through the tree. You understand that? It's beautiful understanding this, because so the tree, it was the teacher of Buddha. Okay, the trees, te and ol is the tree. Teol. Teol, tree, and the constant spirit, high spirit is there. That's one of the reasons you learn the name of Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan. Teo is there. Teo. One of the gods of the Teotihuacanos is Teotl. Teotl is one of all the gods of the people in Teotihuacan. Teotl. Teotl. Teo. ¿Sí? Remember, the first step to understand God in Maya is Kina. And that's the second level, how to understand God. Kin and is like, I am energy of the sun. I am energy of the sun. And Teot is the holy tree. It's Teot, holy tree. The Seiba, like I showed yesterday, the Seiba, it has a Teot there. That's one of the reasons the Maya, they choose that tree, exactly that tree, for to represent the Mayan culture. The Seiba, Yashe. Because anyway, the Seiba have two names. They say Seiba, and they say another name they use, Yash Che. And anyway, Che, it is another name of the tree. Che. You can say Te or Che, but the more ancient name is Te. Today, many people say Che. And Yash, no, they make a mistake. More like this. Yashe. Yashe, it means first. Yash is first. For the Mayas, according with the Mayas, first it was the tree. Before the human, before the manifestation of the human, it was the tree. Okay? It was the tree. So who came first to this beautiful dimension? According to the Mayas, it was the tree. It was first. If you check a little the story, example, the Bible. In the Bible, everything starts close to the tree. That's the reason Adam and Eve is Adam and Eve, the beginning. And then, close to Adam and Eve, it was the tree. Well, the snake we're going to speak later, but the three symbols. Snake, the tree, and the two of them, the duality. Okay, now you understand why it's so important, the tree.
So all trees have
All trees.
all trees, but Seba has something more.
It's something more, yes. It's more special for many things. You go some Seba, you hit the Seba like that. Begin to, the sun is like is something inside. Something's inside. Do you know something about the story of the Shtabai? Okay?
A little bit.
This Shtabai, suppose it's coming from the Sebas. In some aspect, maybe weather, moon, and another aspect of the weather, it can make positive manifestation of Shtabai.
You spell it, so I forgot how you spell it.
Huh?
Step by, you spell it.
Shtabai.
Shtabai. It's a spirit of the legend of
Shtabai. There's another name, Seba. Seba or Yashe. It's two names. But Shtabai is this. And we're going to think a little about this Shtabai. And I like, can be interesting if you know more about this, okay? Because exists a lot of information about Shtabai. Many villages in Yucatan, the villages there in some place is like no civilization, the village, the poor villages or ranch in some place. In all Yucatan, you could say Yucatan, Campeche, Quintana Roo, and Yucatan, and part of Guatemala. Part of Belize is in the peninsula. So it's big land. Many people, they believe in the Shtabai. So the Shtabai exists, for me exists, because exists hundreds of stories of the Shtabai. See, They say exists in my family one story about the Shtabai too. One of my uncles, he died when the Shtabai touched it. This is one of my uncles. But how to do the manifestation of Shtabai? That kind of story is nice to try to understand. Maybe later I'm going to write something about Shtabai because I like to do because I have a lot of information. The story of my uncle, one of my uncles is going to tell you a story like it is, and then later we can do some analysis about many things. One of my uncles, he was at night very drunk. And Espita is my village, and Sukila is another village. Example, my father get married from my mother in Espita. Bueno, Espita, they don't know exactly. Espita and Sukila. And most people, they can travel at night from one place to another place. But this story I'm going to tell you is more than 50 years old. Right? Very old story. Maybe it can be maybe 100. One of my uncles, he went to Espita. He lived in Sukila, went to Espita, and was drinking. You know, we're drinking. Until midnight, he took his horse and began to go to Sukila. Sukila and Espita is almost 4 leguas, like each legua is 4 kilometers. It's almost like 16 kilometers one place to another. He was going in his horse when he saw, sit down in some stone, a beautiful woman. What they say beautiful, I don't know. And then he tried to be close to the woman. And just with the horses they say no, I cannot go there because no accept. But my uncle forced the horse to go close to that woman. Just when they be close, and he put their hands like this, extend their hands to catch the woman, and the woman extended their hands too, and they made this connection, and he took my uncle, like pushed like this, down. But the horse, because they fell down my uncle, the horse so fast went away. Goes in Sukila, because the horse knows the road. So my uncle began to feel this woman began to take him inside of the bushes. So the horses running away to go to the village. And just when they see the horses, my family, he noticed something is something wrong, because the horse, the breath is because he's running so fast until the village. And they begin to see is my uncle's not there, not the horse. Then begin, because it's midnight, almost they waited until the light come of the sun and try to go to see the road and to see what's happened with my uncle. And did discover my uncle, he was close to one tree, say almost dying, because cannot breathe. It's complicated. And they saw close to one place, because my uncle sort of have something, there's a sogas for the cows. When you catch some cows,
Malaria. Rope.
yeah,
Lasso.
lasso, yeah. and he saw a big snake. He lo amarró in some tree, and the snake, it was there. So a few hours later, my uncle died. So that's our story. But then we can go and lead the analysis about what's really happening. But something happened is this, why is a woman, why he catches my uncle, the really true is this, is the temptation. When somebody is wrong, it's just part of the story. The man, I think maybe all the world, that's, I don't know. But in Mexico, what happened with the Mexican when she's wrong? Begin to think in a woman, because then combine alcohol and sex. Begin to think about drunk woman. It's just Mexican, they're like that. I don't know another countries, but maybe it's the same.
Same.
Yeah. Because the alcohol moves some sexual part activation.
Right.
Yeah? Same. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's bad. So my uncle, he was thinking, when he saw something, maybe he's not there. Maybe it's only imagination. But the snake, the chaikam, have the potential to see in the snake what you like to see. Okay? It looks like enter in your mind and at the beneath what you're thinking. Some snake can do that. So chaikam happened to say. Another thing, what happened, my uncle, he saw something beautiful. He saw something because it was a full moon. Because completely dark, you cannot see nothing. So happened that story in the full moon. Full moon, remember the full moon brings a strong energy. So it's more, when it's full moon, the energy is more strong. When we don't have full moon, the energy is less. And the full moon activated some point of their body too. So they can move the chakras, the energy of the full moon. So my uncle, he saw something, so it was full moon. He saw what he liked to see. So in that moment, what it can do, some person travel by horse only themselves, like 4 leguas, 60 kilometers. So in that moment, he's only going like this, and imagination, why don't appear some woman? And the woman appear, you see? And then, touch is very important. But some woman or some man, when they like to do something like sex, first is the touch, because it's the energy. So when he touched that, he was thinking, but the snake, it was in another dimension, because it's not a woman. But he was projecting. When my uncle touched that, suppose that hand, begin the transformation energy of my uncle. Because this touching something is not a human. It's very interesting.
Yes.
I like to write this and give all the explanation like this. He's touching something, it's not a woman. First happened, that snake absorbed all the energy of the man. And because remember, the snake the energy is different. They say it's a cool, like any snake, is no blood. No, it's not blood. It's the energy is different only. The frequency is different. Hmm? So in that moment, when they absorb all the energy of the drone people,